Let me see if this shit even opens up.
All right, we live. Let's see. Get some folks in this drink. Get some folks in this drink before we get started.
Let me tweet this out.
There we go. Live on that end. We got one viewer. So did my thumbnail not save some of my gun? We can't be out here thumbnail list. Oh, it's up there. It's up there. What's up? What up, good people? What up, Jay? What up, Antwaun? What's good? We popped in a little early on y'all, didn't we? Normally be late. We popped in a little early. On y'all. So welcome back to another episode of Draft Junkies. We spinning the block on y'all this time with Edge. What was that?
That was me. I was opening the link. I'm tweeting it out.
Sound effects over there. We spinning the block on Edge. So this is part 2 of Edge, and so we just gonna dive into it because somebody got a special day coming up, and we don't want to hold a time up. We're gonna dive right on into it. So if you down with that, I'm down with it, Chris. Let's get this thing fired on up. Where are all my notes? Where my notes just went to? Oh, here they go. So first dude up, let me get us situated. There we go. Jordan Burch. And I'll let this run while I give you my synopsis of Jordan Burch. 6'4", 279, 33 arm length, 9.5-inch hand. Play, damn it. There we go. What they say his strengths are: prototypical frame, outstanding traits with good lean mass, a very good feel for attacking block angles, has the ability to separate and bypass base blocks. What I got from him, and you see it on the screen, he has great bursts, great frame, and I capitalized thick, no pause. Forget it. You just got to judge me. Don't judge me if you want to, but a great frame. He's good versus the run, has great athletic ability. The negatives, he needs a pass rush plan. Lots of stalemates in pass rush, and he needs more tools in his tool belts. What do you have? And he didn't do much at the combine. Ran a 4.6 740 with a 1.66 10-yard split. What did you have for Jordan Burch, Chris?
So I've been loving this dude since last year. He popped off the screen when I watched some of their tape last season, and he was kind of had an up and down season as far as health. This year, he dealt with some injuries, but when you just look at his ability and at the size that he is, I know for whatever reason they had him listed at 6'6", 290. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they did that because he's 6'4", 279. But I think he's a guy who can give you that inside out versatility. I would like to see him more as a pure edge defender. Mm-hmm. I think Oregon kind of did him a disservice by lining him up in that 4-eye spot so much and having to do a lot of that dirty work instead of freeing him up and just letting him get to the quarterback. He obviously has the physical tools, and in one game they used him on a fake punt, and he was toting that thing. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I picked up a few yards. It was like reading blocks, making people miss. And I was like, oh, that showed me a little something. Like you see that wiggle with him. Mm-hmm. And I just wished Oregon freed him up to just be a pure pass rusher more on the outside. But like you said, there's some development that needs to be done there as far as a plan. As far as developing a go-to move, it's still just him being an athlete or him just being a bull in a china shop. And, we know at that next level, that's not going to cut it, just being big, being strong, being fast. So developing that plan and having that right technique. And that's when you have a guy like Coach Chuck Smith. Right. If he has somebody like Jordan Burch who has the physical traits, Now you just have to put some seasoning on it and develop him into a cerebral pass rusher. Then you can have somebody who could, where you look back and you're like, damn, how did he go in the second or third round? Because the traits are there. He just needs to pull it together.
Right. If he can take that ball of clay and come out with a stick man, he'll be good. He'll be good because he got all the traits, the athletic ability, the potential moves, but he could be one of the ones if he can put it all together and get it going. And you'll see, as you see on the screen, a 5th-year senior with plenty of snaps, 2,152 snaps. 80 hurries in his 5-year career. Most of the production came the last 3 years. First 3 years of South Carolina, last 2 of Oregon. 10 sacks last year, 32 total hurries. And if you don't know, when you look at PFF, what they count is pressure. They count sacks, quarterback hits, and hurries. They put them all together, and that's their pressure package, so to speak. And that's what you see on the totals. That's why it's 32, and that's sacks, hits, and hurries. And so they put that all together, and that's their pressure number. So that's what you're looking at when you get to this screen for all 6 of these guys that we're going to show you today. But I enjoyed watching this tape, and I think he can be one of the guys that can come in and make an immediate impact, relieving somebody on our team if we were to pick him up. Now, I will say this: I see that number is on the screen. There is no call line today. I just forgot to close it yesterday, so let me take care of that, Chris. Somebody be trying to call it. Somebody be trying to, hey, what happened to the phone line? Nope, there is no phone line today. That's my bad. I forgot to close it. Let me take that off. No phone line today. All right, closed. All right, let's get to next player on our shindig. It is Bradyn Swinson from LSU. All right. From Douglasville, Georgia. He's a senior, 6'4", 255, only 33 3/8, hand 9 7/8. You see, he didn't do much at the combine. 3-cone drill, 3.71, 20-yard shuttle, 4.33. What I like about him is he has a quick first step, extremely high motor. He has good corners, good counters. I'm sorry, and he's good at changing direction. To be 6'4", 255. He does a good job of sticking that foot in the ground and changing directions. He's a great edge guy. He can also be a guy that can do some of your drop stuff too, because he's extremely athletic. But as far as in the run, if you got one of those massive tackles, they might get on him and stick. And that's why you got holding point of attack, and he needs to be a better edge setter. But I like the tape as far as from a pass rush standpoint. But as far as against the run, I think he needs to be better and probably need to get more bricks in his pocket. What do you think about Bradyn Swinson, Chris?
So this was the guy that I was alluding to last week when I said this was the dude who I was really interested in. Just you look at the way that he rushes the passer, and he just it's there's some people that's just like when we did this episode and we spoke about Mike Green, where it just naturally he looks like a person who was put on this earth to rush quarterbacks.
Right.
And with Swinson, you get that in his film too, where he's a natural at it. Like he just has that natural feel. And something that you said where he has counters. So there are certain dudes who, let's just use Owe as an example. And everybody knows I'm an Owe fan, so I'm not hating on Owe. But if he has a move in his head, no matter what the tackle,
because hold on, I can't let you get away with that.
What's up?
You probably can't hear it because I had the thing turned off. But it should say you don't take no stuff from everyone because you talk about Owe.
Oh, oh yeah. So him, like if he has a predetermined move, no matter what that tackle, whatever look that tackle gives him, he's going to use that move that he has in his head. With Swinson, you can kind of see that he can adjust on the fly based on what the tackle is showing him and what the tackle is giving him. And I love that with a pass rusher, somebody who can be flexible on the fly, because you can have one thing in your head, but they tackle comes out and messes up your timing, then your move is gone to shit and your pass rush is non-existent.
Yep. But with that Mike Tyson adage.
Exactly. Get punched in the mouth, there goes your plan. But it just that the ball of energy that he is, and it's like you can. There's some players where you feel like that, like just that kind of reverberation that they have when they're moving on the field, and he's one of them. Like he just jumps like straight up off the snap.
Mm-hmm.
I love the pop that he has in his hands. It just I couldn't understand why this dude wasn't being talked about enough. You hear about other guys who are like, well, in my opinion, who are probably like third, fourth rounders and stuff like that, and it's like, why is nobody talking about this dude? Like he has traits, he has production. It's I didn't get it, and this dude is just somebody is going to get a steal. I think I think he should be a second rounder, like no brainer, unless he's like crazy. But I think he should definitely be in the second round.
Right. Just look at his pressures. He got 60 right here, as opposed to somebody that we all know about, because everybody knows about Burch. Burch only got what, 32, and Swinson got 60
right.
in the SEC. Not saying the Big Ten is a slouching right now, because NIL is kind of evening that stuff out. But like you said, this is a guy that needs to be talked about more, in my opinion, because I really enjoyed him, especially in the pass rush. Now, run game has a little to be, desired, but he ain't but 255. So, he ain't really got that like I talked about our first one being thick. He ain't thick like that. He built like a wing guy in basketball.
Right. And what I have in my mind, like when I'm looking at these guys and trying to fit them into the Ravens, I'm looking at guys who can be a rotational pass rusher and provide something that we don't have right now.
Exactly.
So I'm willing to be like, all right, he can't stop the run as well as Tavius, right? But what can he do that Tavius can't do?
Rush the pass.
And that's what I'm trying to look for. I'm trying to get that piece in, because right now that's a major piece that's missing. I know, Owe had 10. I know KVN had 12 and a half or whatever it was, but they need that dude who can provide some juice off the edge.
I want to get as close to what the Eagles put on the field as possible. With that front seven. That's what I want. Not necessarily the two linebackers, but with them guys that put their hand in the dirt. Right. I want to get as close to the Eagles like that as possible, because that can be game changing. And if he's a guy that just come in on quote unquote pass downs, so be it. Be it.
And you like all of that stuff. Like when it comes to being able to set the edge, like that can come with time. Like you can put weight on somebody. You can teach them technique and just angles on how to be a better edge defender as far as the run is concerned. But when it comes to pure pass rushing, there's some people that just have it. And no matter how much you teach a guy, like Owe, for example, I keep using him, but Owe has gotten better as a pass rusher. But it's just a certain limit that he's gonna hit, where a guy like, let's just say Donovan Ezaraku, like that dude he came out the womb being able to rush the passer.
Right. He got amazing being. That joker can dare not put his shoulder on the ground going across the a tackle or whatever. Let's go to the third guy on our list, which is Kaimon Rucker from North Carolina. Make sure this play while I read. All right, from Hartwell, Georgia, senior, 6'1", 254. 32 and 5/8 inch arms, 10-inch hands. The only thing he did at the combine was bench press. What the scouts say about him is good transfer of power from hips to hands in his punch. Uses upper body turn to slide past blockers through the gap. Careful to close the distance and run through target tackles. What I liked about him from the two games I watched, he's good to read and react versus the run. He's versatile because he can drop back and play some off-ball linebacker, then come up and put his hand on the ground. He's extremely strong in the upper body. He's a good edge setter. What I didn't like about him was his length, consistency, and staying healthy. He didn't play. I think he played in 6 games this year, maybe 7. And so his health is a concern for me. And again, being 6'1", that arm length is sometimes an issue, but some people know how to play football, and that arm length crap don't matter. What do you think about Kaimon Rucker from North Carolina?
Yeah, so you mentioned it. Kind of a squatty, kind of muscle bound little dude. And it was interesting because I put his numbers into the mock draftable database, and he's almost identical to Elvis Dumervil as far
Okay.
as size, arm length, weight. It's damn near identical. I think it's like a quarter of an inch. As far as arm length is the difference between him and Elvis Dumervil. But he's not a guy who's gonna be a powerhouse. Like, we mentioned him being, kind of a solid dude. He's not gonna overpower blockers, but he has like that kind of jolt that you see in his hands when he like puts his hands out and puts it into the breastplate of a tackle, and you see the tackle just be bench pressed right out.
Get the head snap.
Right, and he's not a overly strong guy, but when he's able to get inside the breastplate, he can definitely move some blockers. I think he does a nice job of getting under their pass too. He uses that natural leverage when you see a dude that's about the size of a midget going up against these dudes. And I do think, obviously because of the lack of size, he can get overwhelmed when it comes to bigger blockers, or if there's a pulling guard or something like that. You can see him it's just a mass issue. These are big men playing a big man's game, and you can see him get overwhelmed. But I do like the production that he had when he was healthy on the field. He does make an impact when he's on the field, because there's some pass rushers that you watch and you're like, look, I went the whole game watching this dude. I didn't even notice him.
Right.
But Rucker, he makes his presence known in the games that he plays.
His versatility is crazy. Like, because he'll be his hand will be on the ground on one play, and then he'll be sitting there at Mike linebacker next play.
Yep, and dropping in the coverage too. Like I thought he looked pretty good. There was a play where
he got on here. I got a pick on here
with like a one-handed pick, and
go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can find the pick.
No, I know exactly the one you're talking about. He dropped back, felt the dude moving behind him, and he got in the passing lane, and I think he had like a one-handed diving interception.
It was perfect zone coverage, from my opinion.
Yeah, and for a guy who's usually going forward to move backward that smoothly, I thought it was impressive as hell. So I really did like his game, and I don't know what the medicals are going to say, but I thought he was impressive as hell.
What that pick is? Great job of suplexing that dude. What's funny is I would love to see practice tape with his short self and what's the guard that they got that's 5'11". North Carolina got a guard that's 5'11" too.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Lampkin?
Lampkin, yeah. Now that would have been funny. The battle of the short guys.
Hell yeah.
Where's that pick? Might be one of the last plays on here.
No, that play was amazing. I couldn't believe he caught it.
This it right here? Let's see. I think this is it. This might be it. Nope, that ain't it. Where did Darren pick it? There it is.
Yep, that's it.
There you go. Playing this zone coverage.
And he's aware. Boom.
Wow.
Boom. That's nice.
That's a defensive end. That's a guy that could play. That's a 3-4 defensive end right there. That's a 3-4 outside linebacker, defensive end, whatever you want to call him, edge. But let's go to the next guy on the list. And you see the production. 5 years of playing at the same school, 36 total pressures in 2022. Didn't play nearly as many snaps in 2024, but got 31 pressures. And you see when he played the full season what happened. So if he can get his health issues situated, I think, and everybody got to go to the right situation. But he could be, solid. Next up, Antwaun Powell-Ryland, edge from Virginia Tech, 6'3", 252, arm length 31 1/4, ran a 40-yard dash at 5. I'm sorry. I don't know why I got that up there. I wrote the wrong 40, but his 40 is 4.69. 10-yard split, 1.64 vertical, 36.5 and broad, 10.5. 10.4, I'm sorry. What I like about him, strong hands, powerful. He has a pass rush bag. He has good counter moves. He plays zone read the right way, keeping his shoulders square, waiting to see if the ball is handed off, then attacking. What I didn't like about him is his ability to stack and shed at times. He does get out of his pass rush lane sometimes because he go like balls to the wall and he'll end up in somebody else's lane and they have two people in like B gap or two people in C gap, stuff like that. And he don't always use his length sometimes. He kind of go in there too tight and let the lineman use their length against him to what you call him. And what I will say this is on a personal note, number 88 for BC play for me down here. Okay.
Okay. So with him, to me, he was just like he was a jack of all trades, master of none type of guy. I think he's a dude that coaches are gonna love because he's smart, he's sound, he has good instincts, but for me, there aren't any traits, like any standout traits for him. Like his get off on the line isn't anything special. His strength isn't special. His bend isn't special. Everything is just like middle of the road with him. He's definitely gonna try hard. He got a nonstop motor. I thought he had a great feel for containment, like as far as keeping because I think it was the BC quarterback who was a scrambler and
Castellano.
Yeah, Castellano.
He's the Florida State quarterback now.
Yeah. I thought he did a great job of just keeping his eye on him. Whenever he felt like he was rushing outside of the pocket, he would kind of track himself back and find himself back into the lane where the quarterback was trying to get into. So I thought that was very headsy of him, and it shows good football intelligence. But for me, like I wanted to see a little bit more from him as far as those traits. I mean, he has the numbers and all of that, which is fine, but I just don't see a lot of translatable traits that would allow me to assume that he can be a starter in the NFL, like a guy that you could depend on, like year one or year two, as far as edge rushers. I think he could be a nice, dependable guy, like your third kind of dude to come in if somebody gets hurt. But I didn't see anybody who was really going to elevate your room.
He would you consider him like a meh guy? He like a eh?
Yeah, like I don't want to disrespect and say he was trash, because he's definitely not trash or anything like that. I think he could have a solid career. I just don't ever think he'll like be a starter in the league.
This is what I feel about Powell-Ryland. Powell-Ryland has 24 sacks over the past 2 years. I think he's the beneficiary of having Ezraku and what's the other kid name? Shoot, not Ezraku.
Oh, you're talking about
not Ezraku. They got
Peebles.
Peebles on that team. I think he's because Peebles will go get it.
Yeah, and six is no slouch. I don't know who 6 is on their team, but 6 is no slouch either. He might be a nose tackle, but he popped on tape too, and he was
this
no
cat
slouch.
get a lot of one-on-ones.
Yeah,
get a lot of one. Honestly, he probably should be pushing around 20 sacks because the other cats got doubled. They were definitely when the coach put on the tape. Okay, we got to block Peebles and 6, and if he beat us, he just beat us. So that's what I feel about him. Like I said, I'm in agreement with you. He don't suck. He not sorry.
Right. Yeah. I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think he is a guy. He ain't a guy.
Right.
But, again, you get him in the right spot, give him the right situation. Something might click for him, and he may jump up and be you a 7-8 sack guy because he's on a team similar that got a guy, and he can go in and whoop up on the second or the guards or something like that. You never know.
Right. Yeah.
Never know. All right, let's move on to some names I can't pronounce. Femi Oladejo from UCLA. Femi is a California kid. He from Elk Grove, California. He's a senior, 6'3", 259, 33 3/8 arm length, 9 3/4 inch hand. Did the vertical jump at 36.5, did the broad jump at 10 even, did the bench press at 20 reps. What I like about him, extreme effort guy. High motor, like he's gonna run you down. Like you play against him, the whistle and blow, he's still running at you full speed and just gonna get to you and stop at the last minute and start laughing. You flinch like, bro, stop playing. The whistle already blew. Powerful frame, good in the run game, and has really good physicality. So he's a guy that I like watching play, but the negatives, his pad level can be high sometimes, and he's extremely raw because I think he tries to out-strengthen you sometimes. But I for the most part, I like this tape. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, I like this tape too. It kind of reminded me of another Raven, Tyus Bowser, when Bowser was coming out. Because we know Bowser was, he started off on the inside and then he popped out on the outside sometimes in Houston. And I kind of saw the same frame, the same kind of athlete almost, a souped up athlete. And I think he has a really great build, great physical traits, like we spoke about with Jordan Burch. I liked his speed off the edge, but this is the thing when it comes to speed rushers, is some of them, they play with finesse. He doesn't play with finesse.
I don't think he can spell it.
So, and when you see guards pulling, and he's trying to take their heads off when he sees guards pulling. And I love that about him. I like pass rushers who can play with that speed, but they don't play with that finesse game. Like he wants to mix it up. He wants to take somebody's head off. And I love that about him.
He attacked the pullers. I love it. And for people that don't know, and I ain't trying to insult nobody's intelligence, but when you have an edge that attacks the pullers, that means he condenses the hole for the running backs, and which makes it easier for everybody else unless they bounce it. Now, if they bounce it and you ain't got linebackers that can run, that's different. But by him attacking the pullers, that makes the hole a lot smaller for the backs to fit through, unless you got a special back that can bounce that thing, and then it might be over. But
and he doesn't slow play it either. He goes full speed. And that like there are guys who slow play and because they know that there's a puller coming and they slow play it. He's going 100 miles an hour right into that and just trying to blow it up as quick as he can.
And part of that is his rawness, because he ain't reading jack. He just seeing it and going. So that's part of his rawness, because the good players can see the puller coming. Oh, let me close this and then go. He just seeing ain't nobody there and just closing it down. He ain't reading jack. He just playing football and trying to FSU, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. And that's what it is. Whatever team drafts him, they need to know that that's what he is right now. He's a souped up athlete that's ready for smoke.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's what he is right now. And it's going to take some time for him to learn the tricks of the trade. I mean, he's just started being a pass rusher. So, it's not going to be something where we draft this dude and he's going to be able to, rack up a bunch of sacks early on in his career. Like it may be like a Tyus Bowser type situation where it takes, maybe 3-4 seasons for him to really start developing into a pass rusher.
Right. Chaos, I got that. Yeah. You gotta FSU sometimes. You got to. Let's get to our last guy. Now I will say this. When I was making the little film for this dude, I figured out how to use this red arrow. So on this last one, you'll see a little red arrow kind of point them out to you. So going forward, when we doing O-line or D-line, you might have a little red arrow to spice up the stuff. So I'm still learning stuff. Okay. The old head, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But that's what you're going to see on the screen right here while I talk about JT from Ohio State, because I ain't even worried about that last name. JTT, that's what we call it. JT from Ohio State's edge. He's a senior, 6'4", 265 pounds. Didn't do much of anything at the combine. 33 3/4 inch arm length. What I like about him is good size and strength. He's good versus the run. I love guys that play the run and don't think that playing edge is just about pass rush. He can slide down and play some 3 tech if you want to. So he has good position versatility, good play rec. He needs a pass rush plan. He's high sometimes, and sometimes he's stiff and robotic from what I've seen. What have you seen about JT, Chris?
Yeah, so I thought he moved pretty well for a guy who's his size. You would think that he'd just be like stiff and robotic, but there's times where you see him out in space, and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't see that. Like, now don't get it twisted. You know, he's not Abdul Carter when it comes to movement, but it's just surprising for as big as he is for somebody who can move, like especially out in space going backwards, like somebody who can play that Sam role. Or give you at least a few looks at that Sam role, like we saw with Malik Harrison. Now Malik Harrison obviously wasn't the best at it, but when you look at a guy who's this big and can move back in space, if a team asks him to do that, I think he can provide some of that in some instances. He doesn't have much wiggle or much bend as a pass rusher. He wants to win straight up with power.
Yep.
That's what he wants to win with. He's not there, playing with his food, none of that. He just wants to go right through whoever's in front of him.
That's it.
And there's a place for that in the league. I can appreciate that.
Second string.
Yeah, exactly. As far as, but this is the thing. This is the trait with him. Is he saves his best for when you need him the most.
Like somebody else that wears black and gold that we hate.
Right. But like this, I don't know what it is, whether it's a big game, whether it's the playoffs. This dude just makes plays in big time situations. And it's difficult to quantify that because you could say, all right, yeah, he made a big play, whatever. But it's like when you see a guy doing it time and time again. Now, let me read what he did in the playoffs. 4 playoff games, 20 pressures, 10 TFLs, 6.5 sacks, 1 forced fumbles in 4 playoff games.
Crazy.
And and you could go back to last season and watch him do it in big games, in big time situations where he'll get a pick, or something like that. And it's just like dudes who have a knack for making big plays, that's something to bake into the evaluation process too, in my opinion.
He had a Joe Flacco type run, didn't
it? Damn sure did. I like him more than the dude opposite of him.
33?
Yeah.
And you know what? I like 33 more last year than I did because I thought he was coming out last year.
Okay. And for those that don't know, that's Jack Sawyer.
Yes, that's exactly who that is. I had a joke about JT and I forgot. What was I going to say about JT? Anyway, it slipped my mind. But
and he's a hooper too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Where you get that? Where you pull that one from?
I saw a clip of him just hooping and talking shit to people. He got some handles too. It was he wants to smoke. It's on the football field and on the court too. Like he laid it on somebody and then he made sure he let them know after the play too. So he's interesting.
I do have a question though. With all these cats, and I noticed a bunch of these cats that we did this time. They didn't do anything at the combine. What do you think about them? Like, even if they're going to come and do the interview process, open up more slots for people that are actually going to participate and maybe need to be seen. Like he may not have needed to do all the physical stuff, but I'm sure there's 1 or 2 or 5 more guys that maybe need the physical stuff, that need to get their name out there, that would have loved the chance to run the 40, bench press, do the drills, to get some eyes on them. Like, do you think there's a way that can happen? Because there's too many guys that just chose not, like the combine went because nobody was doing the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it shouldn't be a set number. Like, to me, it should be, all right, how many dudes can we invite? Like, how many should be there? Like, there's a guy, I think his name is Dane Jackson from Georgia, who wasn't invited. He's a DB. He did great at the Georgia Pro Day. And it's like, a Georgia guy not invited to the combine? Like, that just seems strange.
Right.
And it's like, all right, we don't have enough invites to invite everyone, but it's like, why not? Like the shit takes
But you got the
20.
rooms.
It takes 20 hours out of 24 during the day. Like add in a few more guys is not going to kill you. So it's just, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like this, invite the folks who invite the folks who should be there, and the folks that everybody wants to see. Like, because I'm sure that there are scouts who are like, yeah, I want to see this dude from Georgia run, or I want to see this dude from William and Mary. I want to see him run. Like, just I think they should do a better job of just expanding the list, because every year it's like, damn, this dude didn't get invited, this dude didn't get invited, and it's like, just expand it.
Hey, how do you spell our new cornerback's name? I want to see something.
Oh,
A-W
Awuzie?
O. Nope. I was trying not to look it up, but I guess I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna throw it up there.
It's CH.
Oh, hold on. All right, CH
IDO BE.
Oh, there it is. He popped up.
I know how to spell it. That's my middle name.
Oh, gotcha. Throw this on the screen real quick. So before I ask you this question, all right, I think I got it up there. All right, there it is. So, obvious question: sign this dude today. I think it's a decent signing. He was really good for a minute there with Cincinnati. What I didn't know is he started with Dallas, but this is his 9th year, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be his 9th year. What do you think about the signing of Awuzie from Tennessee last year? And I think this will be his 2nd year removed from major surgery. So this is when they say you get all your movements and stuff back. So what do you think about the signing?
So I first and foremost, I'd be lying if I said I watched him over the last 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, me neither.
I have not watched him, but I was a fan of his coming out of school. He was actually my cornerback too coming out that year. And obviously talented guy, just needs to stay healthy. And I think one of the most important thing is how cheap they got him.
I don't know the number. What's the number?
They said it's a vet minimum deal in the tweet. So and Tennessee is still going to be paying him. So with him, and I read up under one of the there's a Titans account where they said, do you agree with the move to cut him? Because I think they only saved like 1.5 by cutting him. And a lot of the Titans fans was like, no, like this doesn't make sense. Like you could have kept him, as a depth piece. So, and that was a consistent thing, because we know Ravens fans, if you cut somebody, they'd be like, nope, like he was trash. But you didn't really see like, nah, this dude was trash. He was getting cooked. People kind of disappointed that they got rid of him, especially for the, little bit that they were able to save.
Yeah, you cut him. This cat right here gonna swoop in. He ain't gonna waste no time. You cut a joke. He gonna swoop in and hey, the game of he the king of the cuts, the king of the comp picks. But Chidi Awuzie is now the corner, but I really want to show you how he kind of fits this right here. Like we thin at corner. He's only the 5th body. He's only the 5th body. And I don't know, that probably ain't act right for me. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. He's only the 5th body. You got Awuzie, TJ Temple, Marlon Humphreys, and on the other side, Wiggins and Jalen Davis. So we still ain't got but 5 corners. And I mean 5 bodies. So we definitely still, just because we picked up Awuzie, definitely still got to go get somebody in the draft. Not saying it's going to be early now. With him picking up, it's probably going to be later, but definitely got to get somebody in the draft because there ain't enough bodies at corner at all.
Right. Somebody's bound to get hurt.
Most definitely. It's probably going to be Jalen Davis. See, MJ beat me to it. It's probably definitely going to be him. But I just wanted to put that on the back end right there to just talk about what happened and transpired today. And that is episode 2 of Edge Guys on Draft Junkies. Before we get out of here, I want to say happy birthday to you.
Appreciate it.
Tomorrow. So hopefully, once you take care of the young ladies and get them situated and do what you need to do, an abundance of cheeks find their way to you at some point. And that's my gift. I mean, my gift to you, but my wish to you.
Yeah, this weekend when I'm not on daddy mode, that's is a different. Is the Uncle Luke side comes out.
Speaking of Uncle Luke, let me tell you what this cat did. Uncle Luke, damn near 60, right? He called himself mad at Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons used to be the FAMU coach.
Mm-hmm.
Is now Florida Internationals coach. He called himself mad at Willie Simmons, talking some Willie Simmons ain't check in when he came to FIU.
Oh man!
I when I read that, I had two words, and I'm gonna tell you what they start with. I ain't gonna say them on here. N and P.
Hey man,